Come on.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the only podcast produced by three winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. You're tuned in to the Check Engine Podcast. We're streaming live through Anchor.fm or any place else that streams stuff that you want to listen to. My name is Nick. With me, as always, my two favorite co-hosts, Tristan on one side, and our recent birthday boy, Andrew, on the other. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
How was it?
It was good. It was normal, boring adult birthday. I went to work, and then I went to get Mexican food.
I feel like after, I say 25, they really don't matter much.
You know, you still got some good college birthdays, though. I feel like 28 was when I really stopped caring.
Like, really going
Mine
for
was
it?
a pretty hard stop at 30.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. You went right
I
for the-
like continued to enjoy them, and then they kind of just passed at 30 and 31.
Yeah. I mean, I did get some German chocolate cake from my wife. She made it homemade. So good.
That's
a
awesome.
tradition now, right?
It's a different... She has made other kinds of cake. That just happens to be one of my very favorite kinds.
Excellent.
Well, it's a good kind, so yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, 21 is legal drinking age, 16 you can drive.
25, you can rent a car without the prices being through the roof.
Then your insurance drops a little bit. There's that kind of stuff. And then after that, it's just kind of like, meh, until someone wants you to throw you like a surprise 40 or something like
Over the hill.
Yeah, there's really nothing else after that makes much of a difference.
No.
So
I always hoped that those traditions would have died out by the time that I got there.
You might not make it.
Are you threatening to murder me?
No, I mean, so you might not escape. They might not end before you escape. Yeah.
Wait, first, that was
I am
hilarious.
recording this, so no, I'm not threatening to kill you.
You might not make it.
it'd be a shame if, something were to happen.
to you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I actually haven't officially
No, we
introduced
haven't done,
Tristan
we haven't done
yet.
anything.
But here I am anyway.
Tristan's here also,
was gonna
threatening to murder Andrew.
I was going to joke that you said we're your favorite hosts. We're your only co-hosts.
Only
so,
co-hosts.
Yeah.
So also, therefore, my favorites. I haven't co-hosted with anybody else.
And least favorite.
We haven't had any subs.
By default.
So
I love subs.
anyway, we're not pros, as you can obviously tell, but you're listening anyway. So we really appreciate that. But we don't want you just to listen. We want to interact with you also. So let us know what you think is good about the episodes, what's bad about the episodes, what ideas do you have that you want to hear us talk about. You can start by going to checkenginepodcast.com because we have a thing called email there. It is...
we do, again, finally.
Electronic mail.
We didn't for a while.
Oh, whoops.
Surprise, guys.
We kind of subliminally lied like we did about Spotify
Yeah,
last year.
No.
Just kind of accidentally lied to everybody.
All messed up.
Whoops.
Anyway, but it's good now.
It's good now. I
Okay,
verified.
it is inbox at checkenginepodcast.com. That website also gives you links to our past episodes if you want to build up a body of evidence to tell us why you don't like us. All of our old episodes are there.
It's all fair.
Haha, joke's on you. We still get credit for you listening to all the old episodes. So
That's right.
Yeah, it's
Please
all-
do.
Yep, go ahead. Go for it. And then links to socials, links to blogs, anything CEP related can be found at checkenginepodcast.com. So, Andrew, since it was your birthday, this was your episode to pick, and we're going with back with the open format, correct?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that. We haven't traditionally done that where whoever's birthday it is that week gets to pick the episode content. But
I think we should.
yes, exactly. I think that's a great idea. I like these.
My
open
birthday's in the
episodes.
off season, so
Oh shit, that's right.
To do his half birthday.
Man, what a shame. Oh, if only there was something we could do.
We could record an episode during the off season just for Nick.
Either that or we
How
could do
very
a half.
special.
or like,
Or I just
later in the
don't,
season.
or just let me pick one at any point during the season and
You
just
get
call
a
it good.
voucher.
We'll figure it out.
Give me a voucher. Give
Nick's
me
birthday episode voucher.
a
Yeah.
pass.
But yeah, so we're gonna do little these open episodes, maybe like one a month. I like them because it allows us to talk a little more extensively and interact about all of this little news that comes out. And I'm a horrible freak with stuff like that. So things that catch my attention, I really feel the need to talk about. And so yeah, I mean, I have a ton of stuff here.
Honestly, I was looking at stuff to add, and I'm like, no.
We're never going to get through all this stuff anyway.
Actually, the reverse reaction was like, why isn't he adding anything? And then I kept adding stuff, and I was like, well,
That's why.
probably didn't need to.
I added a couple to make it feel like I did my part to the topic list, but for the most part, I was like out of pocket all week, so
Yeah,
I didn't do a
no,
whole
you
lot of
were-
prep between
Mainly,
being
I just researched the stuff you put in so I could talk about it.
Oh, nice.
between
I'll take that.
between being out of state and sick. I didn't have a whole lot of time to put into this, so I apologize in advance.
Oh, no, it's
But,
all good.
What do you want to start with then? What's the? We're going to skip pace laps because this entire thing is basically a giant pace lap. So
Well, I mean, we got to stop with the hottest news.
Hot.
hot.
All right, so this car we all like, but we shit on constantly
Also,
last year.
both.
Yes. There is a new look Camaro on the streets, boys.
It is.
And what do you think? How does it look?
It looks well. It wasn't hard to beat the last one, but
No.
they definitely made steps in fixing its face.
Yeah, in my opinion, because I think I was the most unabashedly in love with that car.
Definitely.
My only problem with it was the fact that it put its bow tie on its nose.
On the
They
snoot.
kept moving it, and they kept moving it to the
In
wrong place.
Yep, it's back where it should be. It's now back in the grill.
Yes.
Hooray. So I'm done. Good. I'm going to buy this one. That's fine. Yeah,
Hashtag fun Tristan's Camaro.
exactly.
Low-key, I kind of expect you one day just be pulling up in a Camaro.
You might not be surprised to find out that that's what I do someday.
And when you do, I won't be all that surprised.
no,
Just be like,
yeah.
wow.
He did it.
He actually did it.
He did it.
That some bitch did it. No, we haven't had any performance figures on the new one yet, but
They're going to be the same.
it's going to be relatively close. I think the only, like you had mentioned off air, like the only major update here was them saying, "Oh shit, we have to make this thing look better."
I just wonder, like, how does... There's always that thing where everyone's saying one thing about a car, and sometimes it seems like manufacturers get that message, and sometimes it seems like they don't. So is it like selective hearing, or what was the feedback at GM about that redesign?
You know,
To make the change this quick, it must have been pretty hard.
It had to be crazy.
Yeah,
we talk about things people are talking about.
because there was only
this
one
car.
model year. It was like that, right? Was it
I
two
think it
model
was-
years or one?
Yeah, 18 and 19. Because this is 2020.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But still, that's a pretty quick facelift.
Or you could not call it a facelift.
A face
A nose job.
drop.
When I was researching this topic, as I told you I was doing, I found the most fantastic headline about this whole thing.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Camaro facial hopes to jumpstart Chevy's mojo.
Let me
Let's not unpack this. Let's just tuck it away
let me think about that one for a
for
minute.
what it is. Could not handle that almost myself.
No editors at that source.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't want a
It's
Camaro
not like it's some
facial.
fly-by-night thing. It's, it actually is the Detroit News. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a headline we would put out because we're not pros.
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
They're supposed to be pros.
Oh well.
Whoops.
Can't win them all.
Yes.
I will say, I mean, the whole thing that Chevy did, moving the badge from where it belonged to like the nose area of the car.
Up on its snoot.
What we talked about, because we saw that at Road America first, right? And we were like,
Whoa, what is that?
Whoa.
well, they did that to fit in their new design language.
Because every other vehicle has the badge in that bar piece below the grill.
Well, then they started putting it in the grill with the SUVs, and then that kind of like populated down into the rest of the cars. And
Right.
it just, I mean, I'm just glad they moved it back where it needs to be.
Where it belongs.
Yeah,
Where it belongs. So they got that part right.
definitely.
Can we talk about one that they didn't get right?
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Definitely.
Can we just put it on the record how big of a miss the new Blazer is?
I actually disagree with you
Why?
because I saw it in the sheet metal.
It's a Nissan Juke rear end with
Okay.
an old with the 2018-19 Camaro front end on it.
It's actually
Elevated.
a Nissan Juke rear end and front end, but we don't need to get into that. I covered in my blog post from forever ago. I will say, seeing it in person, it could be worse.
Well, yeah, everything could be an Aztec, but
That's what I will say. It could be worse.
It could be.
I don't hate it anymore.
For me, it just falls somewhere on that generic crossover spectrum and is insanely. That whole thing is insanely boring to me.
It is disappointing how similar everything looks like a Juke now,
yep.
which is you think
There's
Nissan
no there's no distinction between the brand. Like there's nothing to tell unless you get right up to the grill and look. Maybe headlights. Is that the only place where people are trying to differentiate now? Is the headlights?
A Juke?
Yes.
Or like the first non-minivan Chrysler Pacifica.
Also, yes.
Like
Yes.
most of Chevy's crossovers look like that now.
Yeah, definitely. It is disappointing. I don't know. I feel like I just can't, I just feel like I can't waste any more energy hating crossovers for their looks because there's so much else that's wrong with them. Like
That's true.
Well, I'll give you an example. I was at lunch at work this week, and someone was talking about how they can't wait until they get rid of their minivan that they've had for years and that their children are out of the house because they really want to get. What they said was, I want to get a little SUV like the Subaru Ascent.
That is their biggest
That's
one.
the biggest
Which
one.
LOL, yeah. But the next thing he said is it's so much bigger than the Outback. And I'm like, well, wait, hold on. It's not much bigger than the Outback. It's the
not
same.
so much bigger.
Right,
It
I
is
said-
bigger.
I said it's
a
basically the same as the
3-row
Outback.
and- yeah.
They're like, well, it's got 3 rows of seats. I'm like, yes, but you get less cargo room. They're like, well, it's just a lot bigger. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I didn't state that as an opinion. It's not that much bigger. And everyone just looked at me like I was the asshole. I'm like, okay, sorry. Guys, it's not that much bigger. It's not huge. They're basically the same car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the article with this is the battle of the big Subaru SUVs is the Outback and the Ascent. They're both mid-size sport utility vehicles.
We were standing in between the two at the Chicago Auto Show, and there's barely a difference. Seeing them right next to each other in the sheet metal, they don't even look that different.
I mean, it's 5 inches longer.
Right.
But compare that to like an Outback to a Suburban.
Yes.
That is a large SUV.
Or an Armada or...
I drove one of those today. It's
Did you?
Gigantic. Yeah.
a Suburban?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I meant the Armada.
Yeah.
I was like, where'd you drive an Armada?
No. Suburb.
I drove a bucket truck bigger than a Suburban.
It is.
I win.
Yes, it is. Mine has air-conditioned seats.
You win.
There you go.
I just
had to
drove my
win
regular
something.
car today. I don't know about y'all. All right. I've had all I want with that for now. Here is an interesting brand you may remember from the 90s. Remember Mazda?
I think people still remember Mazda because of the Miata.
That's actually a good point. That's
true.
Like
the
the
Mazda.
the Miata is
Hey, that's what it is now.
very
It
relevant.
should be. I will say this: they've been quiet and weird for like the past 10 or so years.
Yeah,
It-
it's
it
like they don't know
feels-
where to position themselves.
It feels like they're going through a phase,
Are they
like a teenager.
consumer like a Camry Accord? Are they luxury like a Lexus Infinity Accurate? No, not really. They're just kind of
They're Mazda.
floating there.
But they've kind of been all of that throughout the past
Yes.
couple years. Well, they did come out recently this week, I think it was, or maybe last week, and say that they are intentionally, I don't think they use the word pivoting, but pivoting to become a luxury brand.
What
You
will
could
make them luxury?
You could see that already, though.
A little bit.
I feel like they were trying to gauge the response to it with the hand carved steering wheels and
What?
like whatever else,
Well, heads-up displays
Yep.
and
fancy leather seats.
everything coming in various leather. You know what? That was actually one thing I did notice. They started doing the Audi thing where their lowest tier was leatherette.
Yeah,
or whatever the hell product that is. I don't know. I assume it's vinyl.
Thin leather.
What Audi engineer did they poach?
Probably their interior one, I
Yeah.
would guess. And they do kind of have that look to them. But anyways, as a part of this luxury brand change, if it is a change or evolution, one of the things they also announced is that one of the things they pretended to announce, at least, was that they're going to create a Skyactiv straight six engine. And of course, my reaction to that was, no, we're not doing this. We're not talking about this until I actually see it on lots. I'm not going down another Mazda may do this thing just for it to never happen.
I mean, the king of the may. Mazda sometimes does things, or partially does things, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, rotary engines, definitely the next big thing. And they've made a few.
Oh, and then, it's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back.
It's not like they don't exist, but they only make like one model at a time.
And for very short periods.
Yes. Yep.
And then it's Skyactiv diesel. And then it's variable. Were they the variable?
Nissan, variable compression.
That was it. But Mazda had something weird like that too. Then they had the whole Skyactiv line was a big tease for years until it finally came to America.
That one was just slow.
And then turbo, there's going to be a turbo, but there's no turbo. And it's just like, stop. I won't do this again.
You can't make me go through this again.
No, it's not even like distress. It's just frustration. Do something, damn it.
Do something, and then we'll believe your press release.
They did another one in the same. They also said, maybe there's a Mazda Speed 3 coming. Fuck you. Put out a Mazda Speed 3, then we can talk about maybe you put out a Mazda Speed 3.
There's also rumors that there might be a Mazda 3 TCR race car by the end of this year.
Still, fuck you.
That wasn't from Mazda. That was from racing journalists.
Oh, God. Well, then maybe they will.
That's more reliable than Mazda's PR department.
Yes. Just do something, Mazda. Shut up and do something.
That meme with the stick.
Do something.
Exactly. Exactly. There is actually one last thing I want to talk about, tangentially related to Mazda. A couple weeks ago, I think it was when the draft was going on. We were here before we started recording the podcast, and my wife was here, and that Mazda 3 commercial came on with the commercial for the new Mazda 3, where it's just like the car driving through the mountain, and then a woman got out, and Meg said she really liked the commercial, and we all just kind of blew her off, which was kind of rude. But she said she liked it because it had a woman. So I asked her a little more about that because I realized it was probably wrong for us to just dismiss that so easily. And it's something I try to not do, try to hear other viewpoints. And what she was saying is just basically that it was nice for her as a woman to see a car commercial featuring a woman where the woman was just driving the fucking car. Like, she just drove it to drive it and then got out. Like, that was the end. She wasn't picking up kids. She wasn't getting groceries. She wasn't in an SUV. She was just in a car and drove the car.
She was just enjoying the driving sensation.
Yeah. She said
Guys have done for generations in car commercials.
Exactly. That's what she just said. It's like, yeah, it was just nice to see a woman in a car commercial that was just a car commercial. I was like, all right, I can appreciate that. And that was something
Shout
I
out to
missed.
Mazda for that.
Yeah, and that's something that I definitely missed.
Well, and that's something that they've been touting for a long time. Like, that their whole thing is like BMW is the ultimate driving machine, quote unquote, but it's, the driving experience, and like that's what they center all their focus around with their design and their marketing and their this and that. So it's cool that, we're asking them, money where your mouth is, do something. Like, there you go. They did something at least in an ad. So
they did, and also putting all-wheel drive in the new Mazda 3 is interesting, if nothing else.
yeah.
It's fascinating. Mm-hmm. But slogans, you just mentioned slogans. Let me tell you how insane I am. Last week.
I mean, we know, but go on.
This is some new depths for me, I think. Last week, I went to a local Century that's got a really good deli, and they have all the hogs, boar's head stuff. Hog's head. We got the boar's head stuff. So I'm standing there, ordering whatever, and waiting for the guy who was just moving glacially slow to slice the chicken I ordered. I'm standing there at the case, and suddenly I realize that Boar's Head has a slogan which I didn't know. And the slogan is very simple and excellent. The slogan is "Compromise elsewhere."
Yes.
And then it hit me. If I were the marketing director of like Genesis or Infinity, and if I was in my deli buying some boar's head meat and saw that, I would be so fucking tight. Because that is the perfect slogan for a car company. Compromise elsewhere. I'm picturing some fucking CEO at Infinity checking out so pissed off.
Yeah, I'd be so
Did you find
mad.
everything you were looking for today? Yes!
I found everything I was looking for, and I needed to find it 4 years ago.
God damn it, yes!
I was laughing to myself about that in the grocery store.
That's a brilliant slogan.
It's such a good compromise elsewhere. Damn.
How is that not in a car? How did a car company not get that first?
My vision was actually like the Genesis G90.
Mercedes kind of has it, the best or nothing.
Sort of, but this seems like more modern. It's a little tighter.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing like the G90, you know, in that grayish paint.
The
And
one
they-
that I like so much.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they kind of already have that like black and white-ish commercial that they kind of do for Genesis. I'm just picturing that, and you know, like the panning shots and like a night drive and all that kind of stuff. And then it's just compromise elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
one of
seems
the
like
ones
so
where like the
impactful.
car goes by and then the slogan wipes in.
Yes,
Yeah, yep.
exactly.
Mhm. Yep.
It wipes in and then like a fade to black in the background. Just I just feel like that's like a real punch.
Yeah.
Nope. Ham.
Lunch meat.
little bit of cheddar.
Supersonic.
Let's be really good ham.
Oh, it's delicious.
Really, really good ham.
I love boar's head.
It's not just some random ass
sponsor
deli
us,
meat
please
putting
do.
it with a good slogan.
Yeah, please, boar's head. Let's get some sponsorship going. We love your
I
stuff.
don't even need money. I just need meat.
I just put that in the notes as the deli slogan.
Tonight, we ask for meat.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, God. How come there isn't a car company that has, I mean, you did say Mercedes. That's probably the closest thing to like a,
So you got the best or nothing for Mercedes.
yeah, like a proclamation of quality, or like what makes compromise elsewhere so appealing?
It's tight.
Simplicity. I think, yeah.
It's simplistic. It's easy to remember.
Definitely.
It's almost cocky in a way. It's got like a bravado to it.
Yeah, it does.
We compromise elsewhere. We don't compromise here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
take that out of here. Get out of this room with that.
I think it hits a little bit harder, the compromise elsewhere, but it's along that same simple line of like Mercedes, like the best or nothing. Like it seems a little wordy.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it's any fewer syllables, I really, unsurprisingly, like the Audi one, which is truth in engineering.
Yeah.
You know,
Didn't they used to have a better one previously?
I mean, they have the German one, which is literally translated to jump ahead through technology.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind.
Vorsprung durch Technik. So,
No,
yeah.
I'm glad they worked on that translation.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Maybe it's just that the Mercedes ones almost comes across as a translation. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's a tighter sounding phrase in German.
Other than,
And not really die beste oder nichts.
I mean, it's the same, almost the same.
It's almost exactly the same.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other car slogans now.
Does Infinity even have one?
I think they do.
I'm going to look this up.
Or is it just a jumble of words and letters?
I mean, definitely,
Infinity QZ exclamation point 4.
definitely Compromise Elsewhere would be a luxury brand, right?
Or a sports brand.
Sports brand. Ooh, that on Porsche.
Yeah.
What is Porsche's slogan? Does anybody know?
I don't know. We can all
I
pull out the
don't
Google
know.
machines and
Yes.
try to dig some up.
What? Google says it's beautiful, fast cars. No, it's not that. They know everyone else. Maybe Porsche doesn't have one.
Porsche slogan. Yeah, beautiful, fast cars.
That's lame.
I
In the
like
1960s.
Alfa Romeo's is actually pretty neat.
What's that?
Beauty is not enough.
Ooh, that's
Not
pretty
bad.
good. I'm sorry, Infinity slogan. They're not going to have one. Are you kidding me?
Ford, have you driven a Ford lately? Accelerating the future.
Oh,
is Infinity.
they are not.
Accelerating the future.
So BMW Ultimate Driving Machine.
I don't know that one.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is from...
Audi did have a better one. Never follow.
Yes, that's
That
way
was
better.
the one.
That's way better. That's way better. Aston Martin Power, Beauty, and Soul.
I have heard that one actually.
Jeep.
Let's talk about... let's talk
Jeeps.
about...
There's only one.
Yep.
There's only one.
That's a good one.
Straightforward.
Buick and Cadillac. Buick, the new class of world class. Nope.
Okay, no, not that.
Cadillac, the new standard for the world. The Chevrolet's got fine new roads.
Yeah,
It's the exploratory thing, which not awful. Not as powerful as...
I have a list here. Is that Lincoln is travel well?
Porsche, there is no substitute.
Yes,
That's
it.
the one.
That's a good one.
Good.
We got so off the rails here.
No, this is good content. And this one I do know. Lexus is lame. The relentless pursuit of perfection. No one even believes that. Lexus.
Nissan, innovation that excites.
I do know that is theirs, but also
Saturns used to be like always, like never before.
Is that a Hootie and the Blowfish lyric?
Right.
Toyota,
Don't
let's
even
go
know.
places.
Yeah, that's been around for 1,000 years now.
Let's see here. Mercedes, the best or nothing.
Yeah, of course.
Maybach, icons of luxury.
That's more of a description.
Yeah.
Maserati, excellence through passion.
Very, very
Lotus,
Italian.
for the few who know the difference.
Ooh,
I like that.
That's
one.
kind of catchy.
I like that one. I hope they keep that.
Kia is the power to surprise.
Which
Arguably, yes.
Truer now than ever before.
But I think the bottom line, the best car slogan is found on deli meat.
Yeah, definitely.
there were some good ones, but that's fantastic.
Yeah. That mental image was so funny to me. I don't know.
The super mad car executive.
Yeah,
I was wondering where you're going when I saw that topic. It's like deli slogan.
Deli slogan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get that one either.
No, that one.
But now I get it.
could only make
And it was
sense.
really good content.
Oh, thank you.
That led to some really good discussion.
Okay. Here's one that I don't know. This could be over really quickly. This could take a while.
It's us. What do you?
Exactly. So I think it's next month. So June, Ferrari will announce a new car.
Okay.
Not that surprising, but this car, unlike any of their previous ones, will be a V6 hybrid. Does anyone care?
I think talking about what Tristan mentioned on his Ferrari, his incorrect Ferrari list, with the LaFerrari, like that is their first step into that hybrid technology. Like for a company that has been very, very rooted in old stuff.
Yes.
I think it's a really important step for them. Like, hey, even Ferrari can make an ultra high-end luxury performance car that doesn't need a V10 or a V12. Like it can
Right.
still hit all the performance figures at a fraction of the displacement.
And I have no doubt it will have some seriously impressive performance.
It's Ferrari. It can't not have that. They
Exactly.
wouldn't bother releasing it otherwise.
What do you think, Tristan?
I don't care.
I think that's fair.
It's Tristan and Ferrari.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that doesn't.
I
make-
really liked learning about what I learned about in that episode.
You're not going to keep it up, though.
It was fun, and I'll probably at least make a note of new ones now and actually look at them. Okay, welcome to the party. Everyone's making a V6 hybrid twin turbo V6 hybrid and that just seems too boring for Ferrari.
That's kind of meeting people where they are now.
Yeah, and do something wacky, do a supercharged inline 5 hybrid, something weird in Ferrari.
That's more for Lamborghini to do. Well, not since they got bought out by VW.
And not visually, yes, but they've always stuck to the V10s, V12s at Lamborghini pretty religiously.
Yeah.
So
Eventually they will change as well, but
yeah.
I'm kind of two minds on this. The first one is, so what? Just show me how it looks.
Because it's a Ferrari.
Yeah, because
That's
Ferrari.
the biggest point.
But the other half of me feels like, okay, good, because segue. I feel like
Segue
all
alert.
of these manufacturers creating hybrid engines that have performance are going to give me what I actually want out of my next car. I guess maybe this is supposed to be like an embarrassing thing to admit or whatever, but I'm at this point completely flummoxed that I can't find a car that I actually want to buy for my next car. Just got a new job, going to see a little bump in pay, hoping to pay off my car soon. But I'm actually sick of not being able to buy a car that I like that's either partial hybrid or functional electric. I mean, it kind of seems like bullshit at this point. You know what I mean?
Well, if there's nothing wrong with your Veloster and you like it so much, then why are you searching for a car? Like, wait until there is one that you want to buy.
I know, but
I think in the hypothetical standpoint of like, okay, let's say I needed a new one. My car got totaled and I paid it out or whatever. And, you did want to move into something that could be more fun or more responsible or both, from an environmental performance, etc., everything else standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt, especially around town where it matters, electric cars can be a blast.
yes.
As can hybrids. But there's not one I would buy.
Here's really what I'm saying. The first Prius came out in 97. And in the ensuing 20 years, no one has produced a car that very simply does what my car can do at around 200 horsepower. It's not a lot of horsepower, folks.
No.
But produces any amount of driving sensation. And yes, I understand arguments like, well, the manual transmission isn't really ideal for hybrids. Well, fuck you. It's actually great for hybrids first. And the next thing is, okay, let's take transmission out of the equation completely. Why is there not one hybrid that's actually interesting or fun to drive? The closest thing I've found is a hybrid that feels like a regular car.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing to me is like, okay, let's say manufacturers not willing to deal with the possible, limiting, pigeonholing, limiting, whatever you want to call it, of building a, modest performance, fun, hybrid manual transmission car. That's like already
Right.
But put something, a very nice automatic, put a
DCT in it.
Yeah, anything that would add to that sensation and put out even I think the Veloster would be a perfect car for it because it's already one of those that's like driven by people who really care about that car for the most part.
Yes.
And I think you could tell them like, hey, look what we've done. Your gas mileage is even better. Your performance is even better. It's going to be that much more exciting. Love it.
The other thing is Hyundai now, and as do many other manufacturers, have a really good DCT.
Yes.
Like the one of my wife's Kona, it's not Porsche fast, but that's a good DCT, and it's very smartly programmed.
Yes.
That is the perfect mating. That 1.6 engine, especially with the tune that it has in the Kona, is nice and torquey with a hybrid boost there and a DCT in a hatchback. I feel like
That doesn't seem that hard.
that's the whole thing. It seems like now, especially, discarding that it took 22 years to get to this point, it feels like we're right on the verge of basically every car being a car that I would want to buy. But for some reason,
That you can't push through.
or no one's jumping over that cliff.
There are so many that are so close. So achingly close.
Yeah.
The CRZ.
Definitely. Oh my
Yes.
God. I loved the CRZ, and it's just not quite there.
Right. Lexus 200H.
200H2. That's been around for 100 years at this point, and it's
All it takes is for them to slap an F Sport badge on a 200H.
Oh, I've been praying for that since that thing came out.
That would be the first Lexus I would go try and be excited to drive.
I even like Lexus now.
I don't still, except for the RCs. I love the RCs. But like I would even be excited for that.
I'm just begging for this. And I feel like there's a huge... to me, and maybe, because I'm crazy, it feels like a silent majority of people. Honestly, when I pull up to the pump and have to pay, and again, my car's not that expensive. It's like $40 I paid for a full tank of gas this week, and average, 28 and a half miles a gallon. None of that's terrible. But it's getting to the point where now I'm pulling up and I'm like, all right, this needs to stop. Something has to change. It feels like everything's in a rut. And there's just like a speed bump to where I feel we could be right now.
Yeah, it's because we're so close that it's so annoying. If it was really far away and you're like, it's never going to happen, it wouldn't be so annoying.
Yes. I totally agree. Anyone else having this experience recently?
I'm the same with electric cars even. Like even full electric. Like we are so close. So close. I would still keep a gas car around to, drive all the way to like southern Illinois, things like that.
I'm not ready to entertain electric cars until they can reasonably, and I will give more leeway. I mean, let's say 10 minutes for that full range.
Right, because let's face it, I'm stopping to go to the bathroom and get snacks, and like people talk about like, oh, you can stop and fill this up, and it takes 90 seconds to fill your car. No, there's a line for the bathroom inside. Like,
right.
Especially in road trips, your gas stops are not only gas stops.
But give me,
you've got to get out, stretch your legs, walk around a bit.
Yeah, but
give me back 300 miles in 10 minutes.
10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then on top of the fact that that's almost my length of my average gas stop anyway. I'm not like hitting a hot pits and having somebody run over with a tank and and then hitting it like I'm getting out, I'm walking around, I gotta figure out which credit card I'm gonna use.
That's right.
It takes
they got the tornadoes.
buffalo chicken rollerblades.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I want all of that shit.
And then add on to the fact that and now I've just filled my car for like $1.
Yeah.
We're back to the days of the family road trip costing $38.
Exactly.
Like in today's money, not the 70s.
Right.
And we're just that close.
Man.
I feel like we're not so mad. I feel like we're not that close.
To which part?
The fill up part.
I think that's a little further away.
It's a little further away.
Actually the range part too. I mean, none of these cars, like the lithium ion technology is not there yet. Like we know none of them go the advertised range.
That's the hardest part for me.
And it's not close. Like I don't know why they bother advertising that. Like it could go 300 miles in this fraction of a % of a chance that all of these conditions are right.
It's closer.
Like practically what could it go? like 50 miles less than that.
It's closer
then
now.
Just say that. Just be honest. And I feel like we're super close to the hybrid thing, but I don't think we're very close at all to the full electric.
That's the same with gas cars though. Like that EPA sticker, meaningless.
True.
So you can't fault them for testing their object under ideal conditions.
Right. And
cell phone manufacturers, cars with EPA numbers, everybody does.
It's not even that. It's just, and that gap is finally starting to close. But that's just it. These cars have been sold at 300 miles for the past 2 years.
Yes.
And only now are the newest ones starting to be able to match what they say.
Right.
That is so ridiculous. It's just, it doesn't even need to be outlined anymore than that. That's crazy. But I totally see what you're saying about lithium ion technology. It really feels to me that we're already exploring the furthest possible edges. And
beyond already.
Well, related to that,
we're already doing research beyond those.
But related to that, in that blog I put out, whatever it was, however long ago, when I was talking about batteries, I said I was pretty sure that by the time demand started to go up, we'd see manufacturing difficulties. That's already happening.
Yes.
With the small spike in electric cars that this year, 2019, has brought, there's already manufacturing delays. I'm sorry.
Based on the batteries.
Based specifically on batteries.
Because batteries.
I'm sorry, that's not a solution.
Yeah.
This is, if you think that this technology is going mainstream with specifically in the UK, which has the population of one of the medium-sized cities like Chicago in the space of West Virginia, you think that that country already experiencing delays before an actual spike in, a true spike in demand for electric cars. You now want to take that technology and apply it to the world as a savior? Sorry, no.
No, I still stand by what I said probably in like the third or fourth episode, because they exist. They just need to be scaled up. And I think that's closer than you think. Once we get to ultra capacitors, that solves all the problems, because
It could.
because your charge times are like 0.
Yeah.
It's like plopping water in a bucket. Like you don't have to pump it into the bucket. You just and the bucket's full, right? And the range concerns you get, and you can build them from not super exotic materials,
Right.
and they're easy to build. They're just
Right.
layers of conductive and non-conductive material. And I think that once we see those, that may be our biggest jump. Or I just read a very enticing thing that fuel cells are, the problem with them was their scalability.
Hydrogen, meaning?
Hydrogen to produce electricity, not hydrogen to go bang.
Correct.
In the cylinders. So,
Yes.
the one of two major hurdles was the fuel cells themselves were incomprehensibly expensive to create.
Yes.
And
Especially in asymmetrical shapes.
yes, and someone has actually made them very reasonable.
Oh, nice.
They cost a little bit more than a lithium-ion battery of a similar size.
Right.
Now, hydrogen distribution, entirely different question. But maybe our answer is an electric car, but not with batteries, capacitors, fuel cells, whatever. I don't know. But I feel like that's just about, no, we're not as imminently close as we are with like fun hybrids. But I think someone is going to crack a new technology or fix an old technology aside from batteries soon.
That would be cool.
That's like, I feel it in my bones. But I also could be horrendously wrong.
Right. I do seriously mean it, though. The first company to put a hybrid DCT car that's fun to drive on the market gets my fucking money. It might be Subaru.
It could be Subaru, because they have the they do CVT is their big thing.
True.
But to be honest, when I test drove the CVT WRX, it needs a programming tweak.
Yeah.
Because it chooses weird ratios to drive in. Like when you're like, okay, we're gonna go 50 miles an hour. It chooses the RPM that makes the whole car rattle.
Gotcha.
Like things like that. But when you put it in, you click it into S plus
Click it down into 2.
and
it
hammer
down
it,
into
and
two.
hammer it, it does its job. And
I just want...
and even in my Outback, it shifted as fast as like my dad's first generation DSG GTI. Like
Right.
you'd whack the paddle and it poop poop poop, like it shifts really fast. And
I just need some engagement. I
and
need
they
some
have
paddles.
the
I need
hybrid. They have the hybrid Crosstrek.
Yes.
And I think that immediately enrage hundreds and thousands of fanboys, but give me a hybrid WRX with a DSG or a much better programmed CVT, and I would love it.
Hell yeah. I totally agree.
So,
On board with that. Yeah. I'm not against any of the technology. I'm just against losing the driving experience.
I need...
that seems to be coming with it.
I really do need some kind of engagement in my drive. And that's what I realized. I mean, I love having the manual transmission, but I'd definitely be willing to go to a DCT with paddles if the drive itself was engaging as well.
Yes.
And that's something that's been utterly gone from every single hybrid
Yeah, about all you can say is that it drives as well as a normal car.
from 10 years ago, which is, more than it was. It's just, that's very disappointing to me. Also, can I just point something out here just briefly? The 2020 Prius Prime is coming out soon. They're just now adding Android Auto to that car. The malaise of market leaders is unbelievable in some cases.
Yes.
Yep.
That's insane. Why would you just do that now? It's too late. It's too late. Just leave it out.
Yeah, what took you so long? Now it can be a differentiator for you.
Exactly. Just
Now it's
leave
something
that shit
that
out now.
What makes us unique? Well, we don't have Android Auto.
Like, all right.
That's fine.
Sorry.
What else is on the list?
It's hard to transition out of that because now I just keep thinking about the car I want.
Do you have
Do I have what?
an idea of the car you want?
Yeah, I just want a hybrid DCT car with paddles that fits my lifestyle. So something in a hatch, something in a sedan, in the what is now the compact segment. I don't like big cars necessarily. I don't need 300 horsepower. I just want something that kind of fits with what I already have, but gives me 30, 40 plus MPG.
Yeah.
It's like it's right there. It's right there. It drives me actually insane. You want to talk some racing
Sure.
with me, Nick?
Sure. Nick, sure.
Should we talk about Kevin Harvick?
The All-Star race paint scheme he's got?
Yeah, and how he's corny and kind of ridiculous.
This is one I had to look up.
What, the paint scheme or him?
It's both. It's both.
Well, the paint scheme came about because he lost a bet.
True. So Kevin Harvick, for those who don't know, is a 48-year-old race driver in NASCAR. Who did he make the bet with? I can't quite remember. It was
I think it was with the sponsor.
It was with Busch.
It was with Anheuser-Busch.
Busch said in November, that would have been November last year, that it would sponsor a millennial paint scheme if Harvick did not win the Monster Energy NASCAR Championship Series at Homestead, Miami.
Well, that's because at some point, I forget when it was, it might have been a couple of years back, and they're just rehashing something. Harvick made some, I don't know if it was a tweet or during an interview somewhere, but some sort of remarks making fun of millennials and that generation. Mm-hmm. So this bet came up where either you win the championship or you have to, kind of a friendly wager type thing, not like where they're going to pull their sponsorship, but you win the championship or you're going to have to run a special millennial paint scheme sometime next year.
Right.
So
a couple things to point out in there. There are only 8 drivers in the entire Cup Series that are not millennials. That would be the first thing.
Right.
Second thing
He's
is
one of them.
yeah. The second thing is the Busch is so thirsty for the fucking millennial money.
Yeah.
Have you seen their commercials? They want it so bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
The third thing is they have no idea what a millennial is. They have Yeet on here. That is Generation X. They have Turnt on here. That is Generation X. Other
Generation
random
X?
shit there. What?
X?
Yeah, that's after us.
Z.
Z. Generation Z.
Because X is older than us, I thought.
My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Generation Z.
They have the Snapchat dog filter. That is Generation Z. I think.
That one could go either way,
They do have Millennial Pink.
which is Generation Z.
Yeah, but good. They read what was on the tin.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just this.
How many
is,
Fortnite references?
None.
See, they missed it.
Exactly. They did miss it. It's just like the crowning bullfuckery of this car.
Are you going to read what it says on the hood?
No, what's it say on the hood? I don't even know.
So it's got the Busch logo, but then they added what looks like in graffiti AF.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Busch AF.
Also Generation Z.
Also, you.
But no, what kills me about this is that he put, in order to rib the millennials, a consolation or participation trophy on the side of his car. Yeah. Hey, Kev.
I don't think he did that. I think the sponsor did that. He's not in charge of this paint scheme.
I just want to say, man.
He lost the bet.
One of his actual nicknames is the bridesmaid. Yeah. That's your fucking trophy. Like, what are we doing here?
Maybe I think it's his sponsor making fun of him.
Yeah, it's a sponsor making fun of him. It has nothing to do with him. He lost the bet.
Well,
just
it's
seems
making fun
like
of him and millennials.
It's just, this whole thing is dumb to me. And it's also not working. It's not working to the extent, NASCAR, hey, I'm not watching your race, guys. You didn't hook me in.
Yeah, but they didn't hook you in before either, so.
Yeah, but this should have worked. They were so
No,
close.
this campaign is for us, man. And it didn't work because I'm not watching.
You were going to watch anyway, so they were probably looking for you.
People who are interested in Yeet, whether they are Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen X,
are not going to watch a NASCAR race.
Yeah, people who are into Yeet,
Turnt,
AF, Turnt, and Millennial Pink are not your target demo. Just saying, guys.
Well, they need to be though. I feel like
that's the problem. They do need to be.
That's the thing. I feel like that's the point of this, right?
So you don't get millennials with paint schemes. You get millennials with races that don't last 5.5 hours.
To
we don't have the
no
attention
results and finish under yellow.
They don't finish under yellow. That's
whatever
why it lasts 5.5 hours, because they'll just keep going.
I mean, I don't know. It all just seems. Maybe I actually found out about that after Brad Kozlowski got on his Twitter game earlier this week, and that really pissed me off. He made me angry. Did you guys see this? Josh actually
was retweeted
the thread.
No, I missed this one.
So Josh retweeted Brad Kozlowski let off the semi-automatic tweets over the weekend about jobs, and I just want to make this clear. I don't think that he's wrong necessarily.
Jobs in America or
Jobs in America.
Okay, not like Steve Jobs.
No.
Okay.
Jobs
Not
in America.
likely.
I'll hit the highlights here. These are from his tweets. A quick thread on the state of our country's educational system from my perspective as a new business owner privileged with the platform. He's just saying, as we approach an election year, invariably my timeline is full of all kinds of nauseating political rhetoric. He just wants to point out the fact that we have a lot of 2-year college jobs and not a lot of 2-year college grads. He's absolutely correct about
He's
this.
100%
statistically correct.
Completely inarguable. And he says, my company, KAM Solutions,
I don't know what it is.
They're a manufacturing company of some kind, is having a huge problem where they can't find what was this? A CNC programmer is what they're looking for.
Yep.
And he's saying it's a 2-year degree. We're looking for someone. We can't find anyone qualified. So I read that and in my head I went, wait, I've heard this before. Because I've been in the job market for a while as someone who's extremely overeducated, yet mysteriously under and overqualified for every job on the market at the same time.
You take the requirement for the job and go, give it a big hug.
Yep.
You don't hit it straight on, but you're over and above it.
Yep.
Like, under and above it. It's
because after he said they were looking for a CNC programmer, we said was, at this time we can't even get a qualified applicant, and we are not alone. He's absolutely right about this job market thing. He's absolutely right where people need to get 2-year degrees. But he's actually wrong about his own job posting. Here's why. KAM Solutions absolutely has an job opening for a CNC programmer, which is a 2-year degree. But they don't want a grad. They need someone with 5 years experience. They want someone with 5 years experience. The 2-year degree, 5 years experience, and 3 years specific programming application. Listen,
So he's narrowing his search.
Listen, Brad, you're not wrong, but you're also not right.
You're not helping either.
Yeah, and that's, if we want to talk about education, and this actually does relate to cars, because we do need more people with 2-year degrees to do things like help in these design processes, to
Machine car parts.
actually make these parts. And a good CNC programmer will not only design your part, they'll tell you
where it's going to fail, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Or where the process will fail to create the part you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if we want to talk about education, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how not only is it a lack of 2-year college grads, it's a lack of people who want to train even 4-year college grads. Employers don't want to do training. That's what this job posting shows.
Yeah.
Right, they want to plug someone in and just go.
Exactly.
No one wants. I heard an interesting phrase in relation to an employee at my place of work, describing them as having a long runway.
Okay.
which is a good thing. Basically, they're saying that if you have a short runway, you are destined to fail and fall off the cliff before you take off. If you have a long runway, it means that you might not have the experience and skills already that you need for the job where you want to end up, but it means that you have all of the skills necessary to run down that incredibly long runway and eventually fly.
Gotcha.
And it was in relationship to, like, it was referring to somebody else, and they were mentioning that we need to hire more people like that, because if you hire people who can eventually grow, short term can grow into the job they have, and long term have this long runway to move into jobs beyond what they have, that's how you build a sustainable company.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
So having a long runway is a good thing. And that's the same thing with this job posting. If you have two people on staff that are experienced CNC machinists, and you hire 4 or 5 grads who had got fantastic grades, seem really good at their in their educational stuff, and know what they're doing with a CNC machine, but they might not have the specific knowledge for your application.
Yeah.
Use those veterans to train them, let them grow into their role, and because you chose the best graduates, they're going to have that long runway.
Right.
Versus if you choose someone who already has 5 years of experience or whatever.
Well, maybe they got their degree with a D.
They may be tapped out.
Right.
That's as far as they go.
Well, for about 4 years before I got into the company that I'm in now, I was applying to work marketing, PR, sales, something in motorsports. Tristan, you went on a road trip or two.
We did. We went on the stoned road trip down to Indianapolis.
to pass out resumes to IndyCar teams, and so many of them. Well, besides the fact that they were all very small companies and their marketing department was like 1 or 2 people, and I would have people saying, well, it's just me and you're not getting my job.
Right.
Which is fair, which is 100% fair.
I understand.
A lot of them was like, well, we need people with more experience. And I finally started asking them, how is anybody going to get experience if you don't hire them?
And what did they say?
Well, like,
Yep,
I didn't,
that's
it's
it.
like,
Well,
that's the thing.
Well,
Like,
everyone thinks it's everyone else's job.
Yep.
it's not my job to.
They'll get it at another company. It's like, well, they don't hire people either.
Yeah, what company?
Yeah.
So you can't. And that's not just motorsports either.
Oh, no,
like,
no.
That's any job. Like, well, you need 5 years experience. Well, if everybody needs 5 years experience, so you're not going to hire anyone unless they have 5 years experience, then you're not going to hire anybody.
Right.
Because how do you get the experience if you don't get hired somewhere?
Yeah, and I don't think KAM Solutions even makes car parts, but it's just like, it's his company, and the thing is, Brad Kozlowski's 35. He should know this better.
This is also, I mean, yes, he may be very involved in the company. I don't know.
I imagine that he is.
I don't know if he's super involved or if he's got his name on it as kind of like an angel investor because of his position as a big-time race car driver who makes a lot of money. I don't know. So he may not know as much as we think he should, because his number one job is still NASCAR Sprint Cup driver for Roger Penske.
Right. No, I think that he.
That's where his focus needs to be. Like he's shut.
I think he's involved. I don't think he's involved in the hiring process.
Right.
And they shouldn't start talking about it. Stick to race cars.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my point. Everything you said was right, Brad, but don't relate it back to your own job if it doesn't apply. That's kind of a bad look. That's all I want to say.
Fair enough.
One last Twitter bad look. This one's from Mitsubishi.
All right.
All right.
Mitts with the bad look.
Let me preface this. How many vehicles do you imagine are in Mitsubishi's range right now? I can think of 3.
Do you count the Outlander and the Outlander Sport as 2 different ones?
Yes, sir.
3.
And they got that little whatever it is.
And the Eclipse Cross.
4. Oh, there's 4. There's 4.
Yep.
My bad. If you were going to sell that lineup incorrectly, I feel that you would choose to go about it this way.
Here's how to not be seen.
Oh, God. I have to read this. Mitsubishi USA. Our carefully crafted... oh, my God, I fucked it up. Sorry. Start that over. Our carefully curated lineup means we can pack more features into each model. So this small batch thing is kind of a big deal.
So they're pitching the fact that they're a minuscule car company to like craft beer.
Yes. Small batch IPA cars.
Except it's just like Blatz. Like it fell off the earth because nobody wanted it, and they're bringing it back, I hear.
It's been back.
Right.
Yeah,
Like they're trying to push for it.
Yeah.
In the same way, almost.
Yes. That
which is
was
a
exactly
weird
what
parallel.
I read. That's exactly what I read. And no, that's not what you're doing.
I mean, the small batch thing is a pretty big deal. That's not what you're doing, but it's a big deal.
But okay, imagine if their lineup was Lancer and Evo, not the Sport, but the Outlander, a good electric car, not that MyVec thing, which was garbage, and what would be a good fourth? Something like the Eclipse Cross, something like mass market. I honestly feel that if you had those 4 cars, 4 solid competitors, each in a segment, something Halo, something fully electric, something mass market, I think you could make that argument.
Yeah, you can make that claim very easily.
I mean, if you had 3 cars and they were all superb,
exactly,
you could say, "Hey, we're not going for volume. We're going to provide you the best car in the segment for your money."
Or even like you said with the Outlander, like a surprise good car. Like get in the car, and you're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, so I drove that thing for nearly 36 hours.
Yeah.
And I was just entranced because I never expected it.
Exactly. I feel like they're making a claim they don't have a right to. That's what made me laugh about it.
Just
it's a weird way to go.
A lot of PR wordsmithing gone bad.
Curated lineup.
Everything's curated now.
Yeah.
Except bacon. That's uncurated. Wait, uncured. Never mind.
Wrong word.
Uncurated.
Here we are back on the deli meats again.
Well, speaking of
Compromise elsewhere, Nick.
what time are we at here?
An hour.
An hour.
All right.
Have we bored people to death yet, or we want to keep going?
I kind of want to keep going.
All right.
I don't know if we bore people to
All right, birthday boy.
I hope not. God, all right. I've wanted to talk about this for like a month now. As I've fallen deeper into car Twitter, I've started to discover where the pockets of genuine insanity lie. One lies on the Twitter accounts of a man who goes by @ArtisanLoaf.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know his name. I don't know anything about him. But where did I see? I don't remember. Maybe it was Brandon McAleer or something like that who retweeted these graphs that apparently Artisan Loaf makes every year. He's created something called the Total Return Camry Index.
What?
Okay.
So there's actual graphs. I have them on my phone here. You can see.
There are lines and there are numbers.
Or is it a graph or a chart?
This is a graph.
It's a graph.
And it took me forever to figure out what the hell these graphs were because I don't know stuff
About things.
I don't know stuff about things, about stock markets. So what this is, what he does, and I don't know how he figures this out, but he takes the Dow Jones Industrial Average and recalculates the flow of the market for the Toyota Camry based on the assumed investment cost of one Toyota Camry. So basically, every dollar on this chart, left to right at the bottom, there's time, and top to bottom to top, there's numbers starting at 1.0 and going up to 2.6. So basically, every dollar that Toyota invests in the Camry this year, as of April 2019, results in just over $2.4 in return, in adjusted return.
Return on investment.
Correct.
So yeah, the
So
Camry's ROI.
they're over doubling their money for every dollar they spend on the Camry.
Correct. Just raw sales. And that's the segment that's dying?
Damn.
Isn't that pretty crazy?
that is As you mentioned, that's where this way insanity lies.
Indeed.
Because yikes!
How is that guy not scooped up by a car company?
He stared into the void and it stared back hard.
But he didn't lose. That's what's important.
He didn't blink.
He's got another one here. That's the FTSE Total Return Camera Adjusted Index, where 100% equals one current year Camry at MSRP. And this one's more interesting because it goes kind of by year, and you can see this one's got a lot more fluctuation than the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I imagine this says roughly the same thing, but again, I don't know about stocks and shit because I'm stupid. So
Stupid.
But no, that's how I saw it. He directly sent it to Bazi Todorovic, who I follow, and just said I did a thing. But no, he's actually a really interesting Twitter follow at Artisan Loaf. I don't know what he does for a day job. I don't really know the guy, but
I imagine he's some sort of day trader.
I believe he is.
Can you hit him up and see if he would talk to us and explain what the hell he's doing?
Sure. Yeah,
I'd actually be curious to find out. I think it would make a great episode.
That'd be fantastic if we can get him to call in.
The only reason I haven't is because I'm actually petrified to admit that I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
But that's okay. We can ask him.
Honestly, that's why.
Thanks for joining us. The fuck are you doing?
But I want to know.
Right.
We want to know what the fuck you're doing.
That's why anybody does things like this very obscure kind of thing. Is like, I know what this means. I think it's interesting. You all should look at this. And a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah.
And then they try to explain it.
I mean, I get what the return on investment thing is. I want to know.
I understand.
I want to know how he gets to it.
I want to know how it ties into how he brings the Dow
And does he
into
do it
this.
for more brands?
Look how deep he went into this. This is sorry. Here I have. He mapped this index across what looks to me to be every international market.
Whew.
He's what is he doing? Who is this man? I'll put these graphs up, by the way. We'll put them up on Facebook and on Insta. Man, he's doing something crazy over there, and I do want in on it, so I will have to see if he'll come on.
I want in because I feel like there's some cash on the other end.
You know what?
If we could jump in early enough.
I'm stupid because I took a picture of his bio, and he has it here. Cars, trucks, and trading. Occasional podcast guest.
Hey.
No advice to buy, sell.
Yep, no advice to buy, sell. No endorsements.
We're not asking him to endorse. We're asking him to be an occasional podcast guest.
And explain yourself, Artisan Loaf.
Show your work.
All right. Yeah, I need to invite him on. Definitely.
That'll be a fun episode.
Hopefully.
The business nerd in me is going to come out on that one.
That I would be very excited to see.
The guy who reads the Forbes magazines in the airports anytime he goes somewhere.
Is that not just for show? I assume that was for show.
I'm taking an accounting class, so I'll be right up to speed.
Oh man, ROIs and EBITs and all that shit. We can get all that stuff.
Yeah, that
You're
stuff.
getting excited. All right, calm down.
I know exactly enough to be dangerous. like lose all my money dangerous.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm so stupid. I don't know anything.
I'm stupid.
I'm so stupid.
Stupid.
Ooh. I have a bit of insight for the two of you.
Is it about the Honda Insight?
No.
Missed opportunity.
I have to start over.
Do you have a bit of Honda Insight for us?
I don't.
Damn it.
I have a bit of GM insight for you.
They don't make that.
No. But I know
This is a dead horse.
I know why they killed the Cruise.
Okay.
It's because GM has no goddamn idea how to name anything. Because they had to kill the Chevy Cruise because they named their AV program
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yes, they did.
The same spelling?
No, they named the
normal
AV
way.
the normal way.
Yes.
And they named the car like idiots.
It's almost like Santa Cruz.
It is almost like Santa Cruz. Isn't that already? Oh, that was a Hyundai concept.
Yes.
That truck was the Santa Cruz.
Veracruz too.
That is one.
Yes, that's what I mean. They actually made that.
Yes.
But then they put an E on the end.
It did. Anyways, so that's definitely why they killed that off. And I will hear no arguments to the
Brand
contrary.
confusion.
And they did refile patents in the U.S. for Cavalier.
Oh, trademarks.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
trademarks for Cavalier.
The Chevrolet Chevalier.
That's a mistake. Don't go back to that.
Well,
Right?
didn't the Cruise replace the Cavalier?
What's the
no.
Cobalt?
No, the Cobalt. Replaced the Cobalt.
Yes, replace the Cobalt. Obviously, they weren't bringing that back.
No.
It also has weird radioactive implications.
Cobalt?
Yeah.
Well, I just thought, because the whole murder.
Cobalt. I know. I was saying also.
The whole murder
I was saying
thing.
it's like also it's radioactive.
I actually like that as a name for a car, Cobalt. But yeah. So they are, in my opinion,
They applied for the trademark for the Cavalier.
They did.
You have to show proof of use
Well,
to
that's the
get the
thing.
trademark. How long has it been since the Cavalier has actually been marketed?
It's too late.
Early
if they've
2000s.
applied for it, they're doing it already.
Right. Well, they applied for two things, Cavalier and Chevrolet Cavalier. So, because, got to do that.
Yes.
You do
but-
actually have to do that.
I know. I know. I said that like an asshole.
like
but
you
do
say
actually
it like
do
an
that.
asshole to be sarcastic, but they literally need to do that.
Yes, it's true.
Otherwise, they can come out with a Cavalier, and then Honda could make a Chevy Cavalier,
Which would be so
awesome.
That would
Wait
be
for
so
someone
funny.
to screw up, just steal their trademark, but not really.
Sorry, someone vamp. There's one more thing I need to find, then we can get the hell out of here.
I don't necessarily hate the idea of the Cavalier.
No.
I liked that name.
I like the name and the. I mean, for what it was, the car wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as the Cobalt was.
Well, because it didn't
Kill anybody.
It didn't murder anyone, as far as I know. As far as I know.
How does it rank against the Neon?
Cavalier, I would put it above the Neon.
Whoa. Well, remember there was the SRT4 Neon or SRT4. Is that what
Yep.
it was?
Weren't we going to do a road trip where we were all just going to buy Neons and whoever's lasted the longest just won?
One. I would.
Yeah.
I always wanted
I would
to. I always
still do
picture that
that.
on the Trans Canadian.
The Alaskan Highway.
The Alaskan
Highway.
Yeah.
Oh, bring your CB radios.
It's not going to last long.
Damn. I had.
It's a Chrysler product. It's good. They're all rust.
That's true. Like the poor Pacifica.
Yeah.
What I'm
I
trying
saw
to find
one.
here. I have quotes from Ford about their cars that we need to talk about.
Oh, this is Hackett.
Here we go. Yeah. This is about Hackett. Sorry.
Were you spending too much time with Harbaugh again?
No. No.
Hackett and Harbaugh.
So
That sounds like a sitcom.
Yeah.
it does.
Or
There-
a podcast.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it at all.
You just heard it.
You just did. I can say it again. Did you hear it?
No, I'm busy.
Hackett and Harbaugh.
So
podcast.
here's
podcast.
here's something that happened
The Hackett and Harbaugh podcast.
recently. Recently, the numbers have come out for how much it cost Ford to kill cars in America. The price tag for that was $67 million.
That's actually cheaper than I would have thought.
But it's still a big chunk of money. It's basically dead money,
Right.
Against the cap. Several. The majority. They had their shareholder meeting a few weeks ago. They have a total of $600 million in value lost. It went down $600 million. in
Okay,
the
that's
past
a
2 years.
bigger number.
That's a notably more substantial number.
Yeah, it's huge. So, on the one hand, you have everyone saying that's all good. CFO Bob Shanks said, "We're happy, but our enthusiasm is well under control." All right, Bob.
What are you happy about?
Exactly. You're not happy, Bob.
Your enthusiasm was well under control. So is mine after I almost do well on a piece of work.
Exactly. I could have done well. All this still seems to be pointing to pointing to Ford never going back to cars, right? That's kind of what it seems like.
Seems like they're sticking to their guns.
Everyone's favorite man, Jim Hackett, said after that press conference,
We're still happy, but
that yes, basically he said what he said was something that I can't find the exact quote. Was looking back, it was the right thing to do, but we don't intend to lose car customers in the long term.
What?
then why did you lose him at all?
Hey Jim, what the fuck are you doing?
Why can't is it an ego trip? Like, why can't they just come out and say, you know what? That was probably a bad decision. Why can't they just, because it was, that's all he said. That's all he said right there. It was the right decision, but we don't intend to lose car customers forever. It AKA, we messed up. Sorry.
I don't know, because here I have to imagine that the 67 million was, plant retooling and possible paying off employees that were no longer needed, like car designers or something like that. I just assume it's basically
that's cost to stop doing it.
Yeah,
It's
a little
not
bit of
lost
sunk
revenue
cost.
or anything. It's just cost out the window.
Paying people's severance and
Right.
whatever else.
So they lost that 67 million.
Breaking
a
leases
one-time
on
fee.
plants and...
Yeah, one-time fee, basically. But is there any conceivable way that taking this one-time hit and then taking a break from the car development cycle, then restarting all of it from scratch is somehow going to be cheaper than just redesigning the cars?
I don't know if it's going to be cheaper, but we mentioned this possibility in our emergency break about Ford.
That they're just going to come back.
That they're going to create all this, oh no, Ford is gone, the birthplace of the modern automobile, they're not even making cars anymore. And they're like, ha, gotcha, we're back. And
I think I remember...
But will that big announcement, if it comes, that we're back, is that going to result in any bigger sales than they had?
I have no clue.
Like it really depends on the type of cars they make. Like where they might end up making, like hypothetically,
Right.
Like
right.
if the cars that come out are relatively similar to the ones they hadn't updated in 10 years, lost cause. Like if they come out with a new line of cars, they have to be wildly different and wildly better.
Except, in this country, yeah. I just still, in my mind, I don't understand how they plan on cutting them in Europe, whatever. It's just, it still seems that 2 years into Hackett's reign of terror, there's no clarity in what they're doing. This plan doesn't seem to be working, yet he seems unwilling to divert course, except coyly hint at the fact that they might.
I think the plan isn't the plan is the problem.
You think it's just, is it something as simple as they brought him in to cut costs and that's the only thing he's doing?
Yes.
There's no real forward momentum. There's no real plan for any of this money. To just cut the costs and we'll deal with what happens.
Yeah, I think you see that in a lot of weird places, like a lot of retail stores bring in like new heads of retail for the company just to cut costs, but there's no map, there's no roadmap. Like just like cut costs, and then they realize that all this cost cutting drove customers away, and they have to figure out how to bring them back. I think this is writ large as a car company, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and lurking in the background of all of this is something that is kind of like eating away at the back part of my brain. There have been multiple executives at Ford that have reiterated the fact that they are afraid of commoditization. I do not at any level understand what the hell that could mean.
I mean, that's like a grocery store saying, well, no bread and milk.
We're afraid to sell tomatoes.
No eggs.
No, because that's a commodity. We don't want our products to be commoditized. That's how you generate like an ongoing revenue stream.
That's what drives me so crazy about it.
Continuous demand.
What's the alternative? What do they imagine the other thing is?
I mean, you can go with non-commodity objects.
Lincoln.
Or
just
I would say,
a hole that Ford pours money into.
Or even people who are successful at it, Porsche, whatever.
Porsche, Ferrari.
Ferrari, Lamborghini. But that's not
But you've got to position yourselves in that way.
Wait, though.
And none of those companies are huge.
Is the 911 not commoditized at this point?
I would say it is the most commodity-like of a non-commodity. It's like
gotcha.
It's confusing, but like the really common a really common siracha.
Like a 911 no, Cayenne yes.
Yeah, more or less.
Panamera, like a couple years ago, where you used to see Panameras everywhere.
Yeah,
leases obviously, but
that's what they're going for with those. But even that, it's like it's the commodity of a luxury car.
Yes,
and it's that's still in its own way not a commodity. But I don't know why they're afraid of that.
If anyone can tell me what the hell the other thing is, please let me know. It's slowly driving me insane because this brand invented this core concept.
The car as a commodity is a Ford thing when you go back all the way.
And what do they want to be, a boutique manufacturer, a boutique mass market manufacturer? I mean,
that's
fucking Mitsubishi, assholes.
Mutually exclusive also, by the way.
I know. And they already have a brand that they just throw money into and never receive anything back in Lincoln. They had 3 of them when it was Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln. And then they got rid of Mercury.
Whatever.
I need someone to tell me what's going on, because I feel like there must be a key component that I'm missing, because all the coverage I read about Ford, everyone seems very sane. No one seems to be slowly becoming unhinged, except for me, who doesn't seem to understand what's happening.
Maybe they don't understand what's happening. Maybe you're the only one who gets it.
Artisan Loaf seems pretty smart. Maybe he could explain it to us.
He could. I will try to get him on, I swear. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out.
You want to get out?
I do.
All right. So, before we take off, we need to, as always, say some thank yous. So, who are we thanking this week?
I want to thank you guys, because I know this episode will probably come across as a little scattered, but it's kind of like my little baby, and this is literally how my brain works in action.
Y'all get to listen in on this one.
Yeah,
it's live in real time.
This is what we deal with every day when the microphones are turned up.
Yeah, basically.
And on Slack and everywhere else.
And on Slack, yeah.
And text threads and everywhere else.
So thanks for your patience with that, but also
I think it makes for good flow. Like, the transitions are a little rough, but I think it makes for good flowing conversation. And there are some little jabs of really good content in here.
I hope so.
I think the slogan piece was really awesome, actually.
Some of the
that worked well.
My comments that I receive from people are that, yes, you get car people listening to the podcast. That's kind of the point. But a lot of people listening to it who are not super strong car people, and they just like to hear us talk about stuff and listen to the different opinions and listen to us make fun of each other. And these episodes are great for that.
They're great for that. But yeah, so I just want to thank you guys for that. And then also, like, I mean, this has been one hell of a month for me. April 30th, I get a new job. I've been trying for 9 months. Yay. May 1st, I find out my dad has kidney cancer.
Not a
That was tough for me, because I'm not new hat to parent having cancer. My mom's had it 3 times, and she's also had she had invasive strep in her skull, which is a survival rate in the single digits. So I'm not new to this, but that's it. Just hearing that news. Hearing that news made me remember all of those years when I was in 3rd grade, and then when I was in 5th grade, and it's just feeling exactly like a child, so small and so afraid, and being able to, for the first time, to kind of take control of what happened after that is a totally new experience. And this podcast is something that I need for myself. And while that sounds selfish, I think that the two of you would agree that this is something that the two of you have kind of incorporated into your life as a need as well. And
we're very selfish with this.
Yeah,
it just so happens that
we don't have enough of an audience to be unselfish. At
this point, we are doing it for all of you out there, because it just so happens to align with what we want to do.
Yeah,
but it has to be that way.
And then, of course, a birthday the week after, and my dad goes in for surgery next week, and it's been crazy, and I think that will definitely reflect in this episode. But used as a coping mechanism. So thanks, guys, for letting me do that.
We're glad to be your coping mechanism.
Glad to help. Tristan, what are you thinking? Who are you thinking?
Oh, it sounded like there was more there.
No, I was just passing it up.
What do you think?
I was just.
What do you think about kidney cancer?
I don't like kidney cancer.
I was just passing it over to you. Just like we do every single time. This is the 53rd time, second time we've done this now.
I'd like to, staying on the sentimental train, I'd like to thank, my family and all of my other loved ones and close friends who let me do this. I disappear now that we've turned Fridays into a bit of an event. I disappear for 5-6 hours in a row to do this with you guys, and they're all happy that I'm doing it. They don't even just say, okay. They're excited that it's happening, and that means a lot. So thank you, support system.
Yeah.
Cool. I got a couple of thank yous, quick ones. One, we're recording this on the eve of Mother's Day weekend. So thank you to all the moms. Tristan just talked about a support system.
Yep.
One of everybody's literally original support system was Mom.
Yes.
So thanks to my mom, Andrew's mom, Tristan's mom, all the moms out there for everything you do for us. Happy Mother's Day. And real quickly, I want to say a quick thank you to our new friend, Paul Pepper.
Oh my.
Yeah, man, check out our Patreon page.
Mr. Pepper, your ignorance is our bliss. We had a good time laughing at you today. So, and as always, thank you to everyone who tunes in and listens every week. Even if we suck, you guys are awesome. We appreciate you tuning in. We don't just want you to tune in, though. We're on socials. We're on Facebook at Check Engine Podcast. We have a Twitter handle that Andrew runs so entertainingly, and that is
at Check Engine Pod.
We have an Instagram page that is
at Check Engine Pod, which Andrew also runs now.
Now.
I supervise. Because I don't know what he's going to do, but he runs it.
That's a fact.
we try to keep him in check somewhat, maybe sometimes.
Twitter is a wild, wild west. I let him do whatever he wants.
Sometimes I do need to keep in check. Oh, also, I just want to say, before we run out of time, hopefully you're still listening. William, man, we got you next week. Next week, your episode idea right here.
William, Land Yachts is coming, and also we will get your photos up from the New York Auto Show. We will eventually share those. That's my bad. We'll get to that.
Yeah, next week though. Next week you're up.
You're up.
And then I think maybe after that one, we might have a tuning episode for someone.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Our guy Joe Roy.
That's right.
I was being mysterious about it, but okay.
No, we'll just
that was
call
a teaser.
We'll call
but
him
okay.
out. Whatever. So we know what we're doing for the next 2 weeks.
No magical moments on this show, goddammit.
Nope.
Yeah,
Not as long as I'm on the microphone.
I can stop you.
Well, you could have. You had your chance.
Didn't shoot my shot.
That's right. If you're really into what we're doing here, and how could you not be after hearing this, we do have support pages as well.
And the support is growing. By the way, we just need to point that out. The support is growing, so thank you to all of you for making that happen.
We have a new camera. Thanks to that. We have a new theme song. Thanks to that. We promise we're putting this back into the episode, or back into the podcast. So Anchor.fm has a button right there. It says support. Just click it if you feel so inclined. Otherwise, we also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/checkenginepodcast. We also need reviews, as many as we can get.
And hey, those are free.
Those are free.
That's right.
Don't cost you anything, and it helps move us up the ladder in search landing pages, search engine optimization, all those types of things. The reviews play a very important part in how podcasts are found in searches. So any good reviews you wish to bestow upon us will be greatly appreciated. With that, it is time to get out of here for this week. Cannot wait to talk to you again next week. Until then, take care of yourselves.
Love you, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.